Hello, everybody. Welcome to Revive. My name is Nemesis, and this is DY Dragonfly.
How you doing,
Today,
guys?
we're here to talk to you about the changes in the Nautilus patch. So, DY, why don't you start us off with Ari?
Alright, so Ari, in this week's patch, she was nerfed again, like she was in the last patch, and this is the same one, this is the same as they were in the last patch. She's gotten her cooldowns increased. Also on her Spirit Rush, the second between each Spirit Rush was increased to 1 second from 0.75 to decrease the mobility of her, so when she does it, you have a chance to put the CC on her, you have a chance to kill her before she gets the other two off. And we feel she needed this. She's a really good assassin in the fact that she's like, I'm going to do a bunch of AoE damage, and then pick somebody that's running away because we've focused them, and I can kill them with Spirit Rush and survive. Also, if a team fight gets hairy, she can just get out. So we feel that this is definitely going to help a lot with dealing with her. And we feel like more nerfs will probably end up coming for this champion, but, you know, we don't actually know what Riot's doing. It's just things we feel.
Yeah, definitely. The mobility was just really, really high. I mean, Spirit Rush, Spirit Rush, Spirit Rush, Flash, impossible to catch her.
It's
This
gone.
this really does help out a little bit. So,
Alright, why don't you take it away with Alistair?
all right, Alistair. His Pulverize and his Headbutt mana cost went down, and his Triumphant Roar's mana cost went up. So this is pretty much looks like the same towards early game, where previously Alistair's would just be very, very passive and just keep Triumphant Roaring, continuing to heal up their carry, themselves, the minions, and just keep pushing, and would just remain really, really passive. With this change, now it's less incentive to stay Triumphant Roaring, and a lot more incentive to do headbutts and pulverizes to really get the opponents into a position where your carry can get a kill.
Yeah, they really want you to start bullying with Alistair, and I'm just saying that she already bullied a lot before this.
Yeah, it's really something that would be very interesting to look at. I'd like to see Alistair's doing this a lot more, doing a lot of this harassment, this
Yeah.
setting up. This really helps out for a gank too. Make sure he has that mana for the gank. Really helps just feed your carry kills, which is one of your primary jobs as a support. So we also there are two small changes to Cassiopeia and Gangplank. Why don't you tell us about them?
So in the Cass nerf, it was a nerf. Her base damage on Twin Fang has gone down, and Noxian Blast, the scaling ratio has been brought back, and she really needed it. She was hardly ever played, and then 1 week she was free, and then she became hugely popular, and she just lands the poison on you, or if Singed or Teemo is on the enemy team and they get poison on you, Twin Fang killed you. Either it brought you low enough that you had to leave. We feel that just did a lot. It just did too much in a team fight, and we can see why Riot has brought it down, because it was insanely powerful. GP has now his mana cost on Parlay has been increased. We know why, because he now has to really kind of choose to either, am I going to harass with this ability, or am I just going to farm with this ability? Because he can't really, he used to be able to say, I'm going to kill 2 minions, harass, and so on and so forth, and now he can't poke as much, so he either has to dedicate it to getting more gold, or has to dedicate it to more getting you out of the opponent, out of the lane. And not a huge thing. His raised morale, the range went down, but not a big thing. Moving on to the next champs. Kennen, why don't you take this one? You're the one.
Kennen, Kennen is an amazing champ, but
It's games.
Kennen's an amazing champ. 5-man stun, a lot of AP damage. They did bring his cooldown on a Thundering Shuriken up, which definitely needed. 3 seconds is a really short cooldown for Thundering Shuriken, which has really good AP ratio on it, and it's energy, so it's effectively spammable. It really allowed him to win his lane really, really well, allowed him to farm with it, allowed him to harass with it. So a nerf on the cooldown, definitely needed. Hurts his lane sustain a little bit, not too much, but just a little bit. Try to bring him back down so the other AP mids can harass him about as effectively. There's also a slight change to Rammus as well. So.
Yeah, Rammus. His defensive curl, at max level, it used to give 150 armor and magic resistance, and that was insane. It was just, he could sit under a turret and never die, ever. It's scaling throughout its whole space scaling throughout the entire game has also been changed, and it was sorely needed. It's down to 120 at max level now, and so on and so forth with the other scalings on the ability. And We think he needs a little bit more of it, but we definitely think this helps a lot. Now he can't just run into 5 people, taunt the AD carry, and defensive curl, and pretty much have a Zonia's and a Thornmail. And now, yeah, we feel it
Yeah.
really helps because he's an insanely strong tank. I definitely recommend him if you like playing tanky junglers. You will never play him in draft mode. Go play blind with him. He's really good in blind. You will never play him in draft mode.
No, always banned.
Ever.
Always banned.
Always. He's more banned than a Moo, and I can see why.
Yeah.
So moving on to the next champ is that we have a huge change to Shen, and I want to let Nemes here take it away because he's more of a ninja player.
Yeah, huge reworking on Shen. Everything got changed. We're going to go through each one a little bit here. So we're going to start off with Key Strike. Key Strike, your damage did go up. Also, the cooldown is reduced now when you hit somebody rather than when you are hit. So this really helps out with your laning, your jungling. Just hit things. Key Strike hits them, does a lot of damage. With this change, actually, Shen with the right rune set can jungle with no items. Period. It's insane. They also gave him energy back when he key strikes. So if any of you, as many Shen players know, damn, as many Shen players know, Shen was just bad with energy. He had terrible energy management. This really helps him maintain his energy, keep the energy levels up, so he can go ahead and use his other abilities. Vorpal Blade, the energy cost was changed a little bit, the damage was changed a little bit, so just a buff on Vorpal Blade, nothing too major there. Faint's duration went up, the energy cost went down, the base shield damage did go up, and while Feint is active, your key strike cooldown reduction is 3 seconds instead of 1.5. So this really allows them to be a little more sustainable with that shield. It's not so worthless anymore, and when you pop it, you can get a lot of energy back. You can do a lot of damage. Really nice. Shadow Dash, the cooldown instead of being a flat 10, now goes from 10 to 8 as you level it up. Energy cost is now a flat 120, but instead of only returning 50 energy when you hit somebody, it's now 40 energy per champion. So if you hit 5 champions, that's 200 energy, and you're back to full energy again. Really nice. The taunt duration, flat 1.5 seconds now, so there's really no need to level it up past 1 until you absolutely have to. And the biggest change, and many AD carries have figured this out already, if he taunts you, you do 50% reduced physical damage to him.
It hurts. I like playing Graves a lot, and I just dread when I see a Shen. I'm like, I'm not gonna ever kill this guy.
It's really good. It really brings him in line with a lot of the other tanks because he won't die the instant he taunts 5 people. Stand United, the channel time went up, the shield duration went down, and the shield amount went up. So pretty much this changes it so you cannot escape with it. This is not something you use to escape now. This is something you use to get into a team fight and to save people. So not a huge change. Just use it for what it was designed for, and you'll be fine. Now we have 2 support changes. We have Sona and Soraka. DY, why don't you tell us about some of these?
So I'll talk about the Sona one and probably the Soraka one. I'm not a big support player, but I've talked to other support players, and they feel this nerf was greatly needed on Sona because her early game damage output was extremely high for a support, even for a lot of champions. I mean, the only champ I could ever do as much damage as a Sona could was with Wukong, and that was about level 3 when I'd do my full combo on that person, and I still couldn't kill him. And it took me a lot more mana to do it, and other champs, they take more mana and more of a combination of skills to deal more damage. Sona just power corded and attacked with her Q. It hurts a lot, and now her scaling on all of her abilities has been brought down, and we see that this is trying to bring her more down to par with the rest of the supports. She's still the best support in the game with a 5-man stun, but now her abilities are more. You need to pick abilities to invest in earlier instead of taking single points and then maxing heal. You'll probably end up doing that still because it's the sports job's keeping them carries alive because we're stupid, we make mistakes, and our supports are there to save us. And we thank you a lot for it. And Soraka, a huge change to her. She was the second best support in the game, easy, because she just never had to leave a lane. You always had mana, you always had health, and she could silence the opponent. The jungler came for a gank, he's silenced for 2 seconds, can't do anything.
Yeah.
And now she doesn't get mana back from her infuse. Her Star Call, the mana has been decreased on it, but the damage has also been decreased on it. And Infuse also gets more mana. So like we're gonna probably start seeing more Sorakas be more harassment heavy, and with the Star Call abilities, and we're gonna see her more aggressive towards the enemy bottom lane champions, and probably more aggressive in a team fight, because she kind of has to be now. She can't sit in the back and keep healing people over and over and over again. And that's what we feel is happening to these supports. And we're just moving on to the next champ, which is also a big thing, is Warwick. Warwick got a huge buff, and I'm going to let Nemesis here take this away.
It's insane. Eternal Thirst, his passive, now deals magic damage per stack and restores him an equal amount of health, and I believe it was also a health buff. Infinite Duress, buffed. Scaling is now the best in the game at a 2 attack damage ratio, and his attack speed went up too. This really hurts.
Yeah.
Warwick really, really hurts now. It's really painful, and he's still sustainable as he was before, if not more.
Yeah, you put him in the top lane, he never leaves. He never has to leave, and he deals insane amounts of damage for no items.
Lane Wick is insane.
Yeah. Jungle Wick is bad still, and will probably be bad until he either gets reworked or Riot kind of figures out which ability he needs in the jungle that's not needed in top lane, which is really hard because most good junglers are really good top solos too.
Skarner's just a better Warwick right now because Skarner's toolkit's a lot better.
He has a slow, he has steroids, he has a better suppression.
Much better.
And we feel that's just how it may be less time, but it's not a channel, so it can't be cancelled, and he can move with it. But we still feel Lanewick is one of the most dominant top solos right now.
Lanewick's very, very good.
He's almost impossible to kill in a team fight too.
We did skip over Vladimir, so we're going to go back to Vladimir really quickly. Hemoplague's damage application was dropped by 2% to 12, and Tides of Blood's healing bonus is now scaling up instead of a flat 8%. Really, definitely needed. Vladimir's 14% damage application was just huge if it hit your whole team.
Yeah. Your whole team got Tides of Blood, and health bars just disappeared under Hemoplague. And he just killed things. He was an AP carry that was super tanky and had super damage output, and it made him insanely possible to deal with. And 5 people could focus him, and he could not die with all the spell vamp he has from items like Hextech Revolver and Will of the Ancients, which recently have been nerfed, and we're actually about to talk about the nerf from Hextech Revolver, and that has been brought down from 15% to 12%. And we feel that the nerf on it was huge. You can no longer just sit on the revolver. We feel like you have to upgrade it into a will much earlier in the game. And we feel it was definitely needed because Mordekaiser, Kennen, Vlad, all of these people that weren't mana-based could spam abilities to get all their health back. And we feel it helped a lot with nerfing the item.
Yeah, well, we saw after the last patch when Will of the Ancients was brought down to 20% from 25%, was that people were sitting on their revolver because it wasn't worth the 900 gold to upgrade to another 5% spell vamp. It just wasn't worth it. Yeah. So with this change, with now it giving 8% additional spell vamp over the revolver for 900 gold, I really feel like we're going to see a lot more Will of the Ancients again, instead of people just sitting on this Hextech Revolver as long as they possibly can.
Yeah.
So
whenever I played Vlad before, like it was after nerf of the Will, but before the nerf of the Revolver, I'd sat on my Hextech Revolver for the whole game.
It really wasn't worth it.
Yeah, I didn't never need to. I did it at the end when I had enough gold and everything else was built out.
Finally, we have a Baron Nashor change. Baron Nashor used to be able to critical strike, if you guys didn't know that. He can now no longer critical strike, but they have buffed his base damage by 10%. So, removing the RNG, something I'm always a fan of. This really helps. This really helps you know when to take Baron, because you can rely on how much damage he's going to do, rather than how much damage he could do if he crits your tank for half his health randomly.
That was fun whenever that happened.
I really feel we're going to see a lot of earlier Barons now that we know how much damage he's going to do precisely, and we don't have to rely on RNG saving us. So, really nice. They also updated his character stats so you can see it. So, really cool, really awesome change.
Alright, that's all we got time for this week, guys. Alright, this is DY Dragonfly.
Catch us on the flip side for our review of Nautilus. So,
we'll
see you guys later.
Bye.